Hi, my name is Haley Comet, and welcome to my cosmic corner of the internet, where we discuss all things astrology, and today, all things Taurus New Moon, May 19th, 2023, and you. What grounded, fertile new beginning is aligning for you within the cosmos, and how to harness this abundant energy for your life and for your chart. I am so grateful that you are here, because while this Taurus New Moon speaks to very fertile, opportune soil to really plant the seeds of our dreams, it's important to plant the right sort of seed, because this new moon is squaring off with Saturn, it's conjoining Uranus. So if you don't really align yourself to the new beginning that this new moon is supported for, you can find those excited seeds that you plant turn out to be duds with no sprouts. However, if you work with the conditions of the soil of this Taurus new moon, you can find that you are really planting the seed for something that will continue to blossom and bloom for years and years to come. And I do mean years. When we talk about a new moon squaring Saturn, Saturn is the planet of time. Saturn is the planet of challenges. And certainly this new moon is not lacking challenges. It does give it some grit, right? It gives it some tenacity. And Saturn's the planet of time. So if we really work with this potent, realistic, pragmatic energy, really being wary of the challenges that may come up, this can be a new start that is rooted, that is practical, that is solid, that continues to pay off for us as we continue on into the future. So we'll be chatting all about this Taurus new moon, where it's landing within your chart, how to do a Taurus new moon ritual if you feel so called. I want to just highlight, if at any moment you get any bit of value from this video, I would deeply recommend any little bit of engagement that you can give, from a like, comment, a share. I also have some membership options on my channel, but all in all, I'm just so grateful that you are here. Let's go ahead and get into Taurus New Moon, May 19th, 2023, and you. So as we know, when it's a new moon, it's essentially a time that we know the moon's there, but it's not visible to our eye. It's a blank canvas. And so understanding the sort of canvas it is helpful when it comes to painting the picture of our desires, right? So let's talk about what canvas, what potential this Taurus new moon speaks to. So this Taurus new moon exacts May 19th, 2023 at 8:53 a.m. PDT. Make sure to adjust to your time zone. And this new moon lands at 28 degrees Taurus. And it's not that you literally need to celebrate it as it exacts. That might be very supportive. Really, the new moon window is active for the next 3 days. I deeply recommend doing your intention setting after the new moon exacts rather than prior, as prior the moon will still be waning. Wait to at least get on the waxing side of the new moon. But alas, that's when this energy aligns and exacts. And I love that, because Taurus is ruled by Venus and it lands on Venus Day. So again, abundant new starts, because the sign Taurus has to do with things that we can see and touch and taste and smell. It has to do with senses, it has to do with resources, it has to do with abundance and money. And so when it relates to our material desires, this is an incredibly opportune new moon to plant the seeds around them. However, there is some interesting caveats as it relates to this new moon. The Taurus new moon makes a lot of aspects to other planets, which are sort of painting the picture around which grounded, material, practical new starts are particularly favored. And so with this Taurus new moon squaring Saturn, it's deeply important that you are pragmatic. Like I said, this is a new start, can continue to pay off years upon years into the future, as Saturn is the planet of time. Even if we look to the ruler of this new moon, it's Venus in Cancer, trining Saturn. There is a lot around planting the seeds of manifestations that we want to continue to reap into the future, right? So if we're trying to plant something that will really only be useful for the next month, it may not be the most aligned planting season for you. Versus if you wanted to plant a tree, which yes, may take more time for you to be able to eat the fruit off the tree, so to speak, but can have more long-term payoff, those are the sort of intentions to plant. So if you want something immediately, my love, this may not be the new moon for you. This is a new moon that speaks to delayed gratification, being patient with the process, right? Planting the seeds and just trusting that it will come, right? When in due time, it will come. Channeling this Taurus patient energy. If we keep digging up the seed to check on it, we don't allow it the space to be able to blossom and bloom in its fullest capacity. So firstly, with this square to Saturn, it's important that your manifestations are time honored, right? Something that you can really see yourself going the distance around, as well as something that's realistic, right? Like, you know, maybe not the time to want to plant the seed around 5 private jets or something so beyond your life experience that it's hard for you to sort of grasp within your mind's eye. Like, absolutely plant the seeds of what it is that you want, but strive to stay grounded and be realistic, because with this earthy new moon, things that feel at least somewhat near us, still a vibrational step, but at least somewhat within our periphery, are the most supported. So things that are outlandish, out of this world, I would strive to mostly focus on things that are amazing, but could realistically come into your world. So if you really want a plane, start with 1 plane, right? No need to jump to 5 right away. So pragmatic manifestations work best, as well as things that you kind of know are going to be hard. That's what's really opportune about this new moon, is that it's no BS, right? It's not selling you on a false promise around you're gonna be this entrepreneur and it's gonna be so easy, or you're just gonna go out and buy 5 PJs and it's gonna be so easy. This is a new moon about being realistic about the challenges that could come up. You know, planting the seeds around, I wanna have this business, I'm going to nurture it, right? With all of my heart and care. And I'm also going to plant the seeds around being able to overcome any challenges that arise, because I'm telling you, challenges will arise, right? If it was easy, everybody would do it. And this new moon is ideal for planting the seeds around the tenacity and the strength to be able to continually nurture this new manifestation. So let's say you plant the seeds around you really want a relationship and you call that in with this grounded new start. This is energy around not only just manifesting the relationship, but manifesting the maturity and the strength that it takes to overcome challenges in a relationship. Nothing is perfect. No business is perfect. No relationship is perfect. Things take work. Things take effort. And this is a new moon to really be realistic about that and really plant the seeds around having the strength to overcome it, because that's how we learn, right? That is how we build our dream relationship. That is how we build our dream business, is through overcoming the challenges that come up and calling in that grit and that tenacity necessary to continue to flesh out this new beginning. This is also supported by the new moon's trine to Pluto, which is a very resilient energy about being able to rise above, being able to dig into our power. So all in all, with this Taurus new moon, there is this grounded new beginning taking place for you. And it's not just about the material pursuit. Of course, it's in Taurus, so, you know, see the luxury, see the abundance, what have you. But it also speaks to the amount of work it takes to be able to get to that space, because I'm telling you, it takes a lot. And that's where the magic is. It's not in the external circumstances. It's the version of yourself that you had to be in order to rise that. It's the version of yourself that you had to be to attract that soulmate. It's the version of yourself that you had to be in order to hit that business milestone. It's the person that you had to be in order to have that family, be the heartbeat for your family, what have you. This is a new moon about certainly seeing the external circumstances, but furthermore, planting the seeds around being willing to do the work in order to get there. And I do mean work. You know, we talk a lot about Taurus around luxury and beauty, and certainly Taurus is all of that. But it's also about grit. It's about hard work. It's about slowly, steadily, and consistently showing up to nurture that vision, to nurture that relationship, to nurture that seed of your manifestation until it blooms into something beautiful. This is not the new moon to work with if you want overnight results, if you want get rich quick, if you are not willing to tangibly do the work to overcome the challenges, if you're ready to fold at the first snare that you hit, the first bump in the road that you hit, right? But this is a new moon to work with if you are ready. You're ready to go through the transformation of what it will take for you to be able to evolve into the person that you're meant to be in order to have this desire. I heard this recently. I believe it was from Anita Serene. Do not quote me on that. That's the main YouTuber I watch, so I'm assuming it's her. Check out her channel. She's absolutely brilliant. But somebody, I think it was her, but someone was saying how our desires really do tell us something, right? Like dolphins don't randomly want to run a marathon, right? Like these desires are trying to tell us what it is that we are capable of. The idea would not have come into your head if you did not have the capacity to fulfill it. But at no point is it telling you that that road will be easy, right? Walnut trees are so magnificent and stunning and powerful and strong because of the time that it took to grow the roots that deep to stretch so high. And you the same. The manifestations and the new beginnings that you're planting the seeds for now, it'll take time, it'll take endurance, it'll take grit. And I'm telling you, when it comes to the time when you're ready to reap the fruit of your labor, when you are at the point that you used to just dream about, it's almost like those external circumstances that you're seeing, the money and the house and the whatever, that'll almost just be an afterthought, because internally you hit a gold mine just in the resilience and the grit and the version of yourself that you had to be in order to call those things into your environment. It is not easy. If it was, everyone would do it. And if this is speaking to you, if you're ready, because that's the thing, after this eclipse season, a lot came to the surface and a lot of people really had these new beginnings awakened within them. And so when it comes to this Taurus new moon, the new start that you are planting is one that's really around grounding down and being open to do the work and be open to the amount of transformation that this desire will require of you. And the thing is about that reservoir of strength that it takes to be able to build what it is that we want is that no one can take it from you. External circumstances are nice. And like I said, it's in Taurus. If you want to visualize yourself in the bathrobe or in the house or what have you, by all means, please do so. There's nothing wrong with that. We came here to be humans and have luxurious, sensual experiences, by all means. But the thing is that things fade, things break, and things can be taken from us, right? What cannot be taken from you is the strength that it took to earn that house. So even if you hit hard times, right, something goes on with your health and you have to give up the house or what have you, you still have the strength within you, the lessons within you that it took for you to earn yourself to that level. Like again, the things, and when they come in, they're almost an afterthought. It's really a reflection of the hard work, of the tenacity, of the challenges that we had to overcome in order to get there. That is the gold mine, my love, and that is the new start that you're planning with this Taurus new moon. Even though there's a square to Saturn, that doesn't mean that this new moon isn't without support. It has a lot of support. It is sextiling Neptune in Pisces and Mars in Cancer nearly exactly. So those are the tightest aspects. And with the Taurus new moon sextiling Mars in Cancer, this is about really being able to nurture these dreams, right? Bring them into existence. And with Mars in Cancer, there's power in that nourishment. There's power in being able to nurture and allow these manifestations to grow into something beautiful and really have this heartfelt, soulful approach in regards to it. And with the sextile Neptune in Pisces, deeply important to envision this new start that you are feeling into, that you are planting the seeds around. So let's go ahead and take it into some ritual suggestions. So as I highlighted, you needn't celebrate with this new moon the moment it exacts if your schedule does not align. But if possible, I would strive to celebrate it on Friday, on Venus Day, as that can be very supportive, as this is a new moon that is ruled by Venus. So really calling in this Venus energy. And when it comes to this new moon, use the senses. Beauty magic is super active when it comes to this new moon, especially with its sextile to Neptune. So before you do your ritual, get dressed up, put on your makeup, feel beautiful, right? Allow yourself to sink into the clothes and the makeup of the version of yourself you would be if you had what it is that you're calling in, right? So if you are calling in this business, what would you wear if you had this business? If you're calling in a relationship, what would you wear to date night? You can call it superficial or what have you, but there is something powerful about putting love, care, and attention into your physical persona, particularly when it comes to doing a ritual when it comes to this new moon. So dress up and be surrounded by beauty. You just want to surround your senses by beautiful, fragrant things to allow yourself to sink into this luxurious Taurus energy, as well as spending time in nature, of course. You can hike, you can meditate in nature, do your ritual in nature, anything that soothes the senses and brings you into that calm pragmatism. Again, with this new moon, it's about being optimistic, sure, but realistic about the hard work that will come up. And I think being around nature and its patience around, it's not in a rush, but everything gets done, as they say, around the beauty and the perfection that it is, and sort of the calmness that you feel around it. Like, obviously, the flower is going to bloom. That's what it does. This desire was given to you for a reason, for you to be able to bloom this dream, for you to be able to bloom this desire. That's what you do. Not related necessarily, but fascinating to contemplate. The same week of this Taurus new moon is when Jupiter ingresses into Taurus. Jupiter is blessings, bountiful blessings. Let's make sure to check out the Jupiter and Taurus video to get more context on that. So though they are unrelated, because Jupiter is at very early degrees of Taurus, really 0 degrees, and this new moon is at 28 degrees, unrelated, but still synchronistic, because Jupiter is where it is that we can reap our results and our rewards and our abundance in this lifetime. And it's really important to work with this Taurus energy, not just with this new moon, but really throughout the entirety of the Jupiter and Taurus transit, which is for the next 12 months, really. So while we are planting the seeds as it relates to this new start that we are grounding down, it's important to ease into this Taurus energy and ease into the slow, steady pace that it requires, which it's very easy to acclimate to that pace when you're around nature, because that's how nature progresses, right? Everything has a delicate, beautiful pace. The flowers are not efforting to bloom, right? They bloom because it is natural to them, because they know it's what they must do. They can sense in the air that it is time for them, and you can sense within the air that it's time for you. So it might be helpful to be around nature, to charge your manifestation with this energy around everything's unfolding in accordance to divine timing, right? It's as natural as breathing. It's as natural as the birds migrating. It's as natural as the flowers blooming. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should, and so are your dreams. And charging your manifestations with that pace of nature, which again could just be writing down what it is that you want while you're on a hike in nature, or being around flowers as you write this, it charges your manifestations. Just be patient with the process, right? The flower cannot rush blooming. The butterfly cannot rush coming out of the cocoon. Things are unfolding exactly as they're meant to, and that's going to be important with these new starts, is to infuse this very patient energy into your manifestation, understanding it'll take tenacity, it'll take hard work, it'll take grit, but you are ready for this. This dream and desire chose you, and all is unfolding exactly as it should. So surrounding yourself by beauty, infusing and activating all of the senses, right? Having fresh flowers for the home, using fragrant smells, all surrounded by nature, whatever calls to you. I do want you to activate your senses, as Taurus lives its life through the senses. And I would really advise, with this Taurus new moon answering to Venus in Cancer, if possible, infuse something from nature into your home. Buy a plant, get some fresh flowers. You can charge your manifestations in nature, but bring something back into your home, something around nature into your home. Because Venus in Cancer is the ruler of this new moon. Cancer is the sign of home, and it'll just help you infuse that energy of beauty, and also infuse that pace that we were talking about around everything is unfolding exactly as it's meant to. So with this new moon, I do want you to activate your senses. I want you to see it within your mind's eye with the sextile of Neptune. See it as though you're seeing it play on a movie. You can use words if you like to write down, but use I am present, and particularly use words that activate how it is that it feels, right? How the car feels to drive, how the house feels to walk into. Use your senses to really enliven that manifestation, because this new moon isn't activating any mercurial energy at all. So it's not a necessity to write it down. Like truly, you could just see it within your mind's eye, infuse it into nature, and know that all is unfolding as it's meant to be. That could be your ritual. But if you are somebody who uses words, make sure to activate the senses when it relates to your words. Some rituals that you could do, of course, rituals are very personal, so honor your intuition, what it is that you feel called to, but this would be powerful to, like I said, bring some nature into your home, charge the plant or the flowers with that vision, like see it within your mind's eye, and think of it every time you see that plant or those flowers, and just feel this sense of calm peace, calm presence around all is unfolding exactly as it should. You can even write things down, see it within your mind's eye, and plant it into the earth somewhere if that's something that resonates with you, or visualize it while you're in a bath, because Neptune is in Pisces, maybe even bathing with crystals, something from the earth, charging them up with that vision, and then putting them under your bed. And again, infusing this calm knowing around this desire picked you, seeing within your mind's eye, envisioning how it would feel for your senses, and knowing that it's all coming to you in due time. So while this new moon is opportune and abundant for any intention that enlivens the senses, that is time-honored, that is pragmatic, I want you to know that there is a particular arena of your life that is even more favorable as it relates to the intentions you should set during this Taurus new moon. So to understand what life arena is essentially being activated with this new moon, we want to pull up our natal chart. So there are two ways to find out which house, which life arena this new moon is essentially giving you a grounded, abundant new start. So the first option is if you are newer to astrology, or if you utilize whole sign house system. In that case, all you'll need to do is find your ascendant sign, your rising sign, look below in the description and in the pinned comment, find the timestamp that aligns to your rising sign, advance there, and you are good to go. If you use Placidus, I do as well. It's a little bit trickier, but I'll guide you through and I'll show you on screen how it is that you can find where exactly this new moon lands in within your chart. So what you'll do is you'll go to astro.com and you'll want to look to the outer ring and find the Taurus symbol. It is green and I'm circling it with my cursor at this moment. Line to line, that is the Taurus portion of your chart. And if you follow towards the inner ring, you'll see little numbers. So that Taurus sector may expand over one house, maybe even two or three. So what you can do is you can just find those little numbers. So within this example, we see that the Taurus section expands over the 10th house and the 11th house. So you would just listen to both and see which resonates for you. If you want to get exact, you'll want to get specific about where 28 degrees Taurus is. So border to border, this is the Taurus sector. 28 is in the later portion of Taurus. Every sign only has 29. It goes up to 29 degrees. So we know where Taurus ends, that's around where the new moon lands. So you'll want to find the part of Taurus that borders the Gemini section, because Gemini is the sign after Taurus. So where Taurus ends, Gemini begins. It's like yellow-orange. I'm circling it on screen. Amazing. So this line divides where Taurus stops and where Gemini begins. So you'll know around this sector, that is where this new moon is concentrated. Follow the inner ring, again, towards the later part of Taurus, follow the inner ring, and you'll see within this example that lands within the 11th house. So jump to the 11th house. Let's say it seems pretty close. You're not sure where exactly. You're like, but Haley, the end of Taurus looks like it could be in the 10th house or it could be in the 11th. Not to worry. I'll show you how you can find where exactly the 11th house begins. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll click on PDF additional tables. To the right hand side, you'll see that there is a chart that lets you know where every house begins. So we see within this example that the 11th house begins at 26 degrees Taurus. If this new moon lands at 28 degrees Taurus, we know that's after 26, so it must be in the 11th house if the 11th house starts at 26 degrees Taurus. So that's how you can find where exactly your grounded new start is beginning. And without further ado, let's go ahead and take it rising sign by rising sign, house by house in your Taurus new moon exploration. If you are a Taurus rising or the Taurus new moon lands within the first house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you. And my love, this is an incredibly lucky time for you. Not only will Jupiter most likely transit this arena of your chart, bringing you abundant blessings, many of which are so deserved after what you guys have gone through as of late within the cosmos, truly. So not only do you have that on the horizon to look forward to, this grounded new start is really opportune for anything really that you want to plant the seeds around. This is essentially the house of self. So it is particularly opportune when you envision the who you want to embody, right? So rather than seeing the business, I want you to see yourself as the business person. Rather than seeing the relationship, I want you to see the version of yourself that you would be within that relationship. Your manifestations are the most magnetic when you envision the who you would be. Sky's the limit on this, my love. I'm not even going to limit you to a certain life arena. All I'll say is see yourself as that version. If you want to buy that home, see yourself within your mind's eye, because like I said in the ritual portion, this is sextiling Neptune. So you want to see it as though you're watching a movie, right? And maybe even you should watch some movies that have the manifestation of what it is that you want, okay, with this new moon. Like allow your senses, your eyes to sort of bake in that vision of what's possible for you, of what you could arise into with the Taurus energy, really using your senses to call it in and seeing the who. Really putting yourself as the main character in your story. Who would you be going to your storefront every day? Who would you be showing up to do your podcast every day, in that relationship every day? Truly, sky's the limit as it relates to this new moon. I will also let you know if you have been really wanting to get on a health kick, if you've been wanting to treat your body better, this is the new moon. Because we know it is not easy to break bad habits. We know it is not easy to commit to your health. And this new moon has this tenacity baked into it with the square to Saturn. It is this energy around, I'm planting the seeds to continue to show up, to continue to have discipline even when my motivation fades, to believe in my own potential so much that I'm willing to sacrifice, right? I'm willing to get up early. I'm willing to let go of my bad habits, right? I'm really willing to do the work. I will let you know this new moon is very, very powerful in its grit and its determination to show up, to be the best version of you. So if you are someone where it's very hard for you to stick with new habits, like you want to be a runner, you want to eat more healthy, but it's hard for you to get in the swing of things, this is your new moon. Because there is this energy around understanding how hard it is and doing it anyway. Understanding you would rather stay in bed, but showing up to run anyway. Knowing that it would be easier to just get takeout, but showing up to cook anyway. Around the health that you really want to call in, as well as the physical manifestations that you want to bloom because of that discipline. Because first house is very visible, it's very tangible. So some of you may be calling in a new style, right? A new aesthetic, wanting to feel more confident, wanting to feel more beautiful. A Venus-ruled new moon within the first house, beauty rituals are really supported here, as well as really planting the seeds around not only just being more beautiful, right, but really being able to see your own beauty. This is a really lovely new moon for you to plant the seeds of confidence, of seeing your own worth, okay, of seeing your own worth and really showing up as the most beautiful version of yourself. Because beauty, yes, to some level, it is what it is that you can see, but it's also the energetic that you put into it, right? And committing to it, doing the discipline in order to chisel your beauty. So maybe some of you are trying to commit to a skincare, routine. You're trying to commit to really excavating your personal style. You're wanting to commit to getting your makeup dialed in. You're really wanting to commit to working with that personal trainer. There's this discipline energy in order to arise to the most beautiful, confident version of yourself. Some of you are planting the seeds with this new moon around getting more comfortable being visible, because that's a muscle to chisel as well, right? Showing up to consistently get on camera, showing up to consistently put your art out there, and really being able to overcome judgment, because it is going to happen, okay? And with this energy of Saturn baked into this new moon, it's understanding people are going to leave hate comments, right? Because that's just how the internet works. Or it's going to feel uncomfortable to put myself out there to take photos or what have you. But I'm committing to being able to get to the other side of that. I'm committing to having the grit to be able to overcome these challenges, allowing things that have been secret to be visible. This is really about planting the seeds around. I know it's going to be hard, but I'm really going to commit, whether there's 1,000 people who like it or 0, whether there's 1 hate comment or 12, regardless, I'm going to show up. I'm going to build that momentum around consistently showing up, because I will tell you, showing up and being visible is a muscle to be built just like everything else, just like going to the gym, right? It is not easy to get on camera for the first time, to share your art for the first time, but every single time it gets easier, right? And that's what the new start that this new moon is baking in around, it getting easier and easier and continuing to hone and refine your craft and allowing people to see your craft. I feel for some of you, just due to other factors that are happening within your chart, some of you have been working on something in private and you're starting to feel that momentum build that you want to share. And this new moon is really around planting the seeds around feeling more comfortable sharing and really building the tenacity in order to consistently chisel the vision, consistently show up as the leader that you are, as the artist that you are, as the creator that you are, as the human that you are. If you are a Aries ascendant or you have 28 degrees Taurus within the 2nd house of your natal chart, this reading is for you. And this one is around money, 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 okay, but also value and self-esteem. Yes, financial manifestations work well now. It is important that it is things like this would not be the new moon to work with if you need money in 2 weeks for rent. Like I said, this is time-honored manifestations around planting the seeds around something that will essentially continue to pay out dividends in the future, but it may need some time to get there, right? So maybe some of you are really contemplating your finances and how it is that you can leverage it more sustainably, right? Like maybe you're really contemplating, I mean, the ruler of this new moon is Venus in Cancer. So you might be more likely to want to invest your money in more safe ways. So you might want to shift your money into a high yield savings account. You might want to get a certificate of deposit. Again, this isn't financial advice, but I'm more so saying you might be more inclined to really want to do something, yes, safe, because it's answering to the security seeking sign of Cancer, something that is safe with your money, certainly, but also something that can continue to reap dividends for you and earn money on your behalf, allowing you to work smarter and not harder, truly, with the new moon that is building here. So whether you are manifesting a more responsible usage of your money, really wanting to invest your money in a shrewd, strategic, and perhaps security-oriented way, with the ruler being Venus in Cancer, some of you are planting the seeds around really being able to call in a higher salary and the version of yourself that you would be to be able to call in that higher salary. Some of you have been feeling very undervalued. I'm letting you know, if this lands here, Jupiter will eventually transit this sector, okay? So more money is on the way. And the thing about money is that when it comes to money, we need to understand that we are worthy of the extra money that comes in. When we demand a certain raise, when we raise our prices within our business, we are essentially asserting to the universe, I am worthy of this, right? And if you are somebody who blocks your own blessings, whether it's at work, knowing that you want to raise, taking so many clients, overwhelming yourself, underpaying yourself, there is something building within your chart around understanding your value and understanding that you deserve more, right? And being willing to get to the other side of the hard work that it'll take to be able to command that salary, command that higher revenue as it relates to your business, because this does square Saturn. So maybe it's really having to get shrewd with, where is my money going? Where could it be going better? How can I get to this higher income bracket? How can I make more money from my income? Like again, from my business, like with the square to Saturn, some of you are having to contemplate hard decisions. Do I need a new job, right? Am I able to bloom in my current position? How can I take this into my own hands and get there? But this is a really aligned new moon to know that you are worthy of the higher income boost, because that's step one of earning more more money is firstly understanding that you are worthy of earning more money, okay? Especially if you've been in an environment where you have been consistently undervalued and it's made you doubt your worth. It just feels like this new moon is an energy around, I'm worth more than this and I'm committing to this. I'm gonna do the work in order to allow my bank account, my salary, the amount that comes in to feel at least a balanced representation of the value that I give this world, okay? And with the square to Saturn, I'm not saying you can just see the money within your mind's eye. Like with the square to Saturn, you may need to plot it out. You may need to get serious with yourself, be strategic, but this is a really powerful new moon to focus upon seeing your true worth, understanding the value within your skill set, and really planting the seeds for abundance to come your way. And really with this ruler being Venus trine Saturn, abundance that continues to flow, that continues to pay you, and really bucketing your energy intentionally. So maybe some of you are bucketing your energy towards investments that will continue to pay you out dividends, or maybe some of you are bucketing your energy towards learning a new skill set that will pay out dividends. Like again, thinking long term, okay? Getting real with yourself and getting real with your worth, seeing your worth, and knowing that you are deserving of the value that you seek. And of course, with second house, it also has to do with possessions. So if you have an eye on something that you want to call into your existence, this would be an opportune new moon to see within your mind's eye and really commit to the work that it may take in order to save the money for that item, earn more money by switching jobs, or investing your money more strategically. Again, this is a new moon that's opportune, it's powerful, but it's a new moon that requires at least some groundedness around, okay, we see it within our mind's eye. We see me in this beautiful silk robe that I want to call in, or whatever it is to you that feels like something that your higher self would wear, right? Something that would make you feel actualized and abundant and luxurious, and whatever it is that you want to feel. See it within your mind's eye and then begin to ground it down. Research, where could I get a robe like this? Begin to make a plan. If I save this much every week, I can get there. Again, eye on the prize, be willing to delay gratification in order to get there, and take one step at a time in order to get that item that you so deserve. If you are a Pisces rising, or the Taurus new moon lands within the third house of your astrological natal chart, so you have 28 degrees Taurus within your third house, this reading is for you. The grounded new start that is making for you is really around speaking your truth. So some of you, there's a need to set a boundary here, like you are planting the seeds around understanding, I am so valuable, I am so worthy that this conversation might be uncomfortable to say my boundary, to say something that used to be fine is no longer fine. It might be hard for me to draw that boundary, right, with the square to Saturn, but I know I am worthy of it. You really are stepping into a powerful space as it relates to your voice, as Jupiter will also transit this sector. You've most likely had North Node transit this sector. There's been a lot of work around your voice, around using it, around speaking your boundaries, around getting more comfortable telling people no, what have you. And this is a new moon to really plant the seeds around that, around really seeing, honoring, and understanding the strength that you carry, and getting comfortable speaking your truth, even if other people disagree, or if other people were used to crossing your boundaries. They're used to you being meek and shy. You're stepping into yourself in a powerful way, and particularly this new moon speaks to that new start. Some of you are being nudged with this new moon to feel more comfortable sharing your voice on social media, via a podcast, via writing. And the thing is, with this new moon baked in with Saturn energy, it's really around committing to the routine of it. I highlighted this within the Jupiter and Taurus video, but I want to be super straight up with you guys. The results that you seek are on the other side of the work that you've been avoiding. And particularly if you are somebody where you want social media success, you want to share your voice, you want this podcast, during this new moon, it's opportune, but I want you to be ready to show up day in and day out, whether 20,000 people are listening or 2 people are listening, you and your dog. Understanding there will be weeks that you do not want to work on your craft. There will be weeks that you don't want to write. There will be weeks that you don't want to film, what have you. Like when it comes to my content creation journey, there have been many weeks that I've been like crying right before filming, right? And it would have been easier to hide and not to be perceived, right? And when it comes to consistently showing up, there's a powerful momentum in that. Like it's been this really grounding force for me in the 3 years. I can't believe I've been doing this for 3 years, but in the 3 years that I've been filming every single week, I have film something, and it creates this steady pace. Regardless of what was happening with my world, regardless of what was happening in my emotional landscape, I was building self-trust that I could show up and hone my craft every single week, whether I felt like it or not. Motivation fade, discipline is what stays, and discipline is how you succeed as it relates to content, if that is a desire within you. I just want to highlight other manifestations. Some of you want to take a class, and again, it might take some delayed gratification, like with the energy of Saturn. It might be easier after work to just sit on the couch eating bonbons. I don't know why that's a phrase. What is a bonbon? I don't even know what a bonbon is. I just hear people say that all the time, but that might be easier, right? It's harder to get online and take your little classy class of a new skill that you want to chisel. But this is a new moon around understanding you are so worthy of that. Some of you, random, it would be powerful to plant the seeds around really being willing to nurture a relationship with a sibling or a cousin if you have been experiencing troubles there, as well as nurturing a connection with a neighbor, particularly if it's been troublesome or something of that nature, as well as really grounding down to enjoy your present iteration is supportive with this new moon. If you are an Aquarius rising, if you are an Aquarius rising or you have 28 degrees Taurus, that's Taurus New Moon within your 4th house, this reading is for you. So this new moon is essentially planting the seeds around a very stable emotional space. So one thing I want you to plant during this new moon is around planting the seeds of the rituals and the routines that feed your joy. Okay, that feed your joy. We tend to think of joy as something that happens, but this is a new moon to take it into your own hands to understand joy is something to be cultivated intentionally, right? It is the routines that are conducive for it. It is doing the work to break away from things that are not conducive to our joy, things that suck our energy, right? Whether it's bad habits or things that don't give us any energy at all, watching TV, things of the nature. Joy is something to be nurtured. And with this new moon, it's a positive time to be able to plant the seeds around truly committing to the things that do allow you to experience that byproduct of joy, to cultivate it intentionally. So for some of you, maybe it's planting the seeds around something like therapy or something like a hobby, anything that supports your emotional stability. Again, it's super supportive for that because the outer circumstances of our life are constantly changing. There will always be something to be worried about or upset about. Like that's just the nature of living. It's so important to take things into our own hands and find excuses to feel good, find excuses to experience joy, find excuses to begin to cultivate that within our life, right? Finding joy within the little things. So this is an incredibly aligned new moon to plant the seeds around that and to be willing to do the work in regard to that. Like I said, joy isn't always sunshine and rainbows. It's being able to write our gratitude list even when things feel like it's falling apart. It's being able to release ourselves from bad habits that we know bring us emotional turmoil. It's being able to do activities after work that actually support us feeling good rather than us making us feel like we're wasting our life away. That's what's super supportive with this new moon. And with this new moon, some of you are calling in a house, okay? I won't lie to you, with the square to Saturn, it can be a long process. It may be important for you to have patience, have high standards, okay, with the process, but I absolutely see some of you are really calling in a new place to live. Whether it's purchasing, renovating, there's some sort of new beginning that you are calling in with home, and I really want you to see it with the sextile to Neptune. Like I would get pictures of your dream home, have it visually, enliven the senses, and do not settle, okay? Do not settle for that vision that is within your head around where it is that you want to live. There will be work needed, like you have to kind of see it and also be willing to walk around, meet with realtors, whatever it takes, right? But I do want to let you know this is an incredibly aligned new beginning as it relates to your home environment, whether you want to call in new roommates, a new place to live. Some of you are calling in intentions around family, getting closer to family. Some of you are drawing boundary around family members. Some of you are perhaps wanting to start a family. These are all super aligned as it relates to this Taurus new moon for your chart. If you are a Capricorn rising or you have this Taurus new moon, so you have 28 degrees Taurus landing in your 5th house, this reading is for you. And for you, you are really planting the seeds around nurturing and honoring your lust for life, your inner child, your sense of fun and excitement and appreciation of the little things within life. I guarantee it's still within you, even if you're listening to me like, Haley, Comet, I don't know, I feel pretty jaded. Life has done me dirty. What do you mean joy and lightness? Like things have been heavy, I promise to you, this is the new moon around really planting the seeds around it. Some of you are planting the seeds around nurturing a new hobby and allowing it to really just be about the hobby, right? Like some of you, let's get real, because I know a lot of you guys are Capricorn risings, okay? Some of you are planting the seeds at this time to cultivate a hobby that has nothing to do with making you money and nothing to do with being efficient. And it's going to be very powerful as it relates to your inner sense of stability and well-being, because you are learning to enjoy the process. It is something that is going to slow you down and make you really ground down into your senses. And it doesn't have to be good enough for others. Other people don't even have to see it. You really are just anchoring in this celebration of being alive and baking that in. So some of you will be learning an instrument. Some of you will be honoring knitting or some sort of hobby, something that grounds you into your physical body. So I would deeply recommend staying away from screens. Do something physical, right? And this is really going to help your well-being. It's really going to help your happiness. Of course, with the square to Saturn, you will have to overcome feelings of guilt around you should be doing this, or you need to be participating in capitalism at all times. But there's a divine reclamation of your time and of your joy by doing things just for the sake of doing them. This is also the sector around creativity, self-expression. And a lot of you are committing to your creativity, making it part of your daily routine, being very disciplined with your craft. I have this natural talent of filmmaking, but this is the time to really chisel it by showing up, learning about how to shoot, learning about how to script write, what have you, chiseling and refining this craft. And again, you don't need to worry about, oh, this needs to lead to my directorial debut. Just enjoy the process. There really is this divine slowing down that you are invigorating during this time, and really just enjoying the pursuit of really building this hobby, right? Or really building this creative pursuit and allowing it to be what it is. This new moon is making a loose conjunction to Uranus. So some of you are getting weird with your art. You're breaking barriers. You're trying new things. You're disrupting what's expected of you. Other people may not understand it. And I want you to know they don't have to. This is a very sacred house. It has to do with things that feel good, right? And with it in Taurus, things that enliven the senses. If you get it, if it feels good to create, that is what matters. And I want you to know you are essentially enveloping your creations at this time with this celebration of being alive, which people will receive on the other end. It's not for them right away. Again, allowing it to be sacred before you're ready to share. But if you do things through this gritted teeth, clenched fists around it needs to be perfect, people feel that when they read your novel, when they listen to your music, they feel that urge around it needs to be perfect and it needs to be successful. The most amazing art is something that you can feel that they had fun making it. And that's something that you are tapping into at this time. Some of you, I will let you know, you may be moving into a very fertile time. You might be planting the seeds around wanting to conceive a child that is conducive with this energy of square to Saturn. Perhaps some of you have been having setbacks in that arena. It is opportune there. And also, some of you need to slow down, enjoy the process of dating, okay? Some of you have been trying to get to the finish line around, we need to get married and have babies, and obviously, that's a desire of yours. There is pressure around that. But what I want you to know is that you are finding the fun in dating again. So if you are on dating apps, like hating your life, like swiping, stop doing it. Allow it to be fun. I'm telling you, the right people will find you, okay? And allow it to be fun. Allow yourself to go out and just be open to what could be. Allow yourself to get to know yourself by going out with different sorts of people. Allow yourself to enjoy the process, to slow down, to be in the present. You guys are really anchoring in this sensual new start around enjoying this particular iteration of your journey before rushing to the next one. If you are a Sagittarius rising, or you have this Taurus new moon, so 28 degrees Taurus, landing within the 6th house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you. And you are really calling in this grounded new start as it relates to your day to day. Okay, and a lot of you guys are Sagittarius rising, so I know a lot of you guys are big picture people, right? You want adventure. But what if I told you those dreams that you want, those desires that you have, are on the other side of the small habits that it takes for you to get there? You are planting the seeds around a routine that not only supports the version of yourself now, but also the version of yourself that you are calling in, the version of yourself that you are striving to become. This new moon is about tapping into the higher version of yourself and understanding, how do they spend their time? Do they vape every morning? Do they spend 12 hours on social media? What have you? How can you reverse engineer? So see the dreams that you have. You're like, I want to be a top pianist. Reverse engineer. Okay, what would it take to be a top pianist? What would a top pianist do every single day with their time? I don't know, maybe they would practice piano, right? They would wake up and they would practice piano. I want to let you know, a lot of you are planting the seeds around striving for more organization and clarity around where your time goes, okay, in your day-to-day. If you're somebody where you're like, I don't know where the hours go, I don't know where my time goes, a lot of you are planting the seeds around getting very realistic, around taking ownership over your time, really wanting to understand where your time goes and how you can be more effective. I want you to look at your daily routine and I want you to look at your dreams. Do they speak towards one another? I want you to look at your higher self. What would their routines? How similar are the two? Like, that is the focus as it relates to this new moon, as well as ensuring that you're bucketing time for the important and not urgent tasks. Because a lot of times our day is sucked up into not important but urgent tasks, things that feel urgent. This message that just came in, this email that just came in, whereas you keep pushing off someday, I'll practice piano, someday. What if that was your number one priority? And what if you baked a routine in which that was your number one priority? Before the kids got up, what if you went into your soundproof room and practiced piano or what have you? What if you built your day-to-day around that fundamental, essentially chiseling of your craft and chiseling of your dreams? Not all of you will be practicing piano. Some of you are planting the seeds around a healthier lifestyle, okay? And understanding with this new moon square to Saturn, it takes discipline, okay? It sucks sometimes, right? Having to drink the smoothie when your heart really wants the donut, but you know that your body deserves, right, nutrients, it deserves spinach, it deserves to feel good, what have you. This is a really aligned time to commit to a new exercise routine. Perhaps a new one. This new moon does make a loose conjunction to Uranus, so maybe something new. Maybe you've never tried Pilates or Zumba, something fun, something enjoyable, and allowing yourself to show up consistently. That is the name of the game as it relates to this new moon. Some of you are changing jobs or you're calling in a new job. Perhaps some of you are calling in someone to hire as well, would be 6th house. So really with the sextile Neptune, see that job, right? And really attune to what is my perfect day. My mentor always tells me this whenever I'm stuck on something within my business. She says, Haley, bring it back to your perfect day. If your perfect day does not involve you being on calls every single day, build your business around that, right? What is your perfect day? If you love filming, what would your business look like if you got to film a lot of your day? Think of your perfect day, my love, and think of a position that would accommodate that. If you really love long mornings, maybe looking for something that has more so night shift available. If you are somebody who really, really values being able to cook your own meals, maybe looking for something work from home. Find your perfect day, envision your perfect day, and reverse engineer what would be the habits that support this, right? What would be the job that supports this? Maybe I need to outsource certain tasks within my business in order to support this. Find that perfect day, then reverse engineer, and that's the new start that you are planting during this new moon. As well as some of you are calling in a pet, improved health, or a better relationship with your coworkers. So if you are a Scorpio rising or 28 degrees Taurus falls within the 7th house, this reading is for you. So the new start that you are planting with this Taurus New Moon 2023 is around relationships. I want you to know, at this point in time, you're the most magnetic as it relates to people. Rather than seeing the house within your mind's eye when you do that visualization exercise with the sextile to Neptune and Pisces, I want you to see the realtor handing you the keys. Rather than envisioning the business, I want you to see the ideal client that you want to serve. You're the most magnetic as it relates to people during this time. This is an incredibly aligned new moon to plant seeds in regards to the general public, right? If you are somebody where you really want to chisel your people skills, right? You want to be more charismatic. You want to be able to really nurture the connections within your life. You want to be more magnetic as it relates to leads and as it relates to sales. This is a very aligned new moon, as well as with the Saturn energy baked into this new moon, being willing to do the hard work in order to get there. It can be uncomfortable to chisel people skills, right? It can be uncomfortable to learn to network. You have to go to those social outings when a lot of times you'd rather be in bed, but you're like, I know that the success I want is on the other side of working this muscle around getting more comfortable communicating, getting more comfortable working with others, what have you, in this incredibly aligned new moon to plant the seeds around really nurturing those people skills within you. Of course, my loves, you guys are really moving into a time of magnetism around relationships, okay? Jupiter in Taurus will transit this sector eventually, and with this new moon, it's really seeing that connection within your mind's eye, right? And be willing to do the work to overcome any trust issues, to overcome any baggage that you have in order to arise to that person's level. Like a lot of times we experience blockages as it relates to our manifestation through people because we are not ready to be the version of ourselves that we need to be within that connection, right? So with this new moon, it's really around, if I want to be with this person who is healthy, who is spiritual, who is committed to their growth, I need to be that because we attract what it is that we are, right? So if you are noticing you keep attracting a certain type of person, take that moment for self-reflection around what is it that I need to heal or work on within myself in order to get to the same vibrational level of the person that I'm trying to attract. This can work in romance as well as business partners, as well as clients, things of that nature. Being willing to do the work in order to get to that person's vibrational level is super supportive. Some of you are manifesting a contract with this new moon that's incredibly supportive to see it within your mind's eye. And with a square to Saturn, thinking long-term with things, being pragmatic, really wanting to commit to what it is that you can really see yourself going the distance within. If you are a Libra rising or you have the Taurus New Moon, so 28 degrees Taurus, landing within the 8th house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you. And the new start that you are sort of planting the seeds around is around unexpected abundance to come to you. This is a time to be steady around the desire. So I want a lot of money to come to me, right? But to be open to the modality of how the universe will get it to you, right? Because the universe does get creative. Don't suffocate the flow of money into your experience by saying that it only needs to come through one channel, right? You might be like really putting all of your energy into your business, like, come on, come on, come on, I want it to come through this. Meanwhile, there's this amazing freelance opportunity that comes into your life, which is a manifestation within itself, but you're so determined that it needs to come through this particular arena, right? Whether it's, some random opportunities, some freelance work, random checks in the mail, your partner making more money, affiliate marketing, passive income, just money coming out of nowhere. I'm telling you, I want you to be open to unexpected streams of income. So when it comes to the manifestations that you are planting, having the vision around, I want to call in this much money, right? But being open to how that could come into your experience. Maybe it can come via a random check in the mail. Maybe it can come via a gift. But all I want you to do is really be open to unexpected money to reach you, money from others to reach you. So seeing that vision around the money that you want to call in, right? But being open to how it shows up. It could show up around money that you would have spent, right? You went to go buy this refrigerator and it turns out one of your friends has an identical one and then you had that refrigerator. That's like $3,000 that you just invited into your experience because you were going to spend it. Little things like that and being appreciative for little things like that allows us to be more magnetic to money to continue to find us in unusual ways, right? Being grateful for discounts, being grateful for money you would have spent, being grateful for gifts, people buying you things. A grateful heart is a magnet of blessings, and do not suffocate the money coming to you by feeling like it needs to come through one particular vehicle, because you are moving into a time in which money will come to you, gifts will come to you, support will come to you in those random ways. So partly with this new moon, you are being able to ground down and be willing and open to receive it, because that can also bring up some hesitance. When you are somebody who feels like I need to do it on my own, this needs to be my doing, that also can be a block of abundance. If someone wants to buy you something and you're like, no, I can do it. The universe is trying to give to you through other people. To micro levels, I want you to notice how safe or unsafe you feel to receive. Like if someone says, you look beautiful today, do you say, no, you look beautiful, right? Like always trying to turn things to the other person. How do you receive? This is a new moon to allow yourself to soften the heart, to understand you are so worthy that the universe wants to rain upon you, that the people around you want to rain upon you, that you deserve a wealthy partner who spends lots of money on you, that you deserve random money showing up via inheritances and gifts and what have you, essentially. You're worthy of that. And sometimes when we aren't open to receive, when we're like, it makes me uncomfortable when people spend money on us, the universe like, okay, you don't want this? Okay, we'll go away. So sometimes when it comes to this house, it is a healing house in that we have to be able to do the worthiness work in order to really feel like we are deserving of the abundance that wants to reach us during this time. As I highlighted, some of you, if you're wanting to call in, I'll be straight up, a rich partner, low-key, this is a really lovely new moon to work with. Or if you're wanting to manifest an income boost for your spouse, for your partner, anyone that you're merged with, for your business partner, this is a very aligned new moon. Of course, with Saturn, it might take some time, but I'm telling you, this is the energy around delayed gratification, but abundant gratification, certainly. As well as with this new moon really in this kind of deep, intense house, it's also around the transformation that you are calling in, right? To be able to, a lot of you are doing major worthiness work. Seriously, a lot of you are really dialing in to be able to see your own worth, to get out of your own way, to be able to tap into the blessings that the universe is trying to give you. Some of you are overcoming stubbornness. Like some of you are like, no, my life needs to look like this. Whereas the universe is giving you all of these gifts in this arena via ideas coming to you from others and just resources coming to you from others, opportunities coming to you from others. But you're like, I thought my life was meant to pan out like this. So again, there is this softening taking place with this new moon around allowing yourself to ease into where is the universe allowing me to transform, right? What are the blessings coming up? Because again, I feel that some of you are forcing when the universe is like, no, we're trying to get your awareness to go over here, right? We're trying to get you to flow with us rather than force what you think it should be. Some of you are getting out of your own way around how you thought it would be and allowing yourself to transform into how the universe is trying to support you in perhaps unexpected ways that you did not anticipate. And again, I just feel that some of you are like with gritted teeth, you're like, no, this needs to work out, whether it's like, you know, a relationship or a job or what have you, you're like, no, this needs to work out, it needs to be like this. And the universe is just calling to you like, there's an easier way, we promise. We know your desire, we know your heart, we know everything about you. We know this is what you think you want, but we guarantee we have something so much more aligned. So some of you are manifesting with this new moon, this divine surrender around understanding your worth, right? So being able to receive abundant blessings in the unusual ways that they show up. And some of you are really calling in this energy of surrender around allowing yourself to flow with where the cosmos are pushing you rather than to force what it is that you thought it would be. If you are a Virgo rising or you have this Taurus new moon, so 28 degrees Taurus lands within the 9th house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you. And you, my love, are planting the seeds of faith. This is not always your comfort zone. You are somebody who is very grounded and practical. When you want something, you go out and you get it. You attune to the details and you get it done, right? It is all too easy for you to attune to what is wrong rather than what is right. And this is a new start around really believing to look for magic and believing in magic, believing that you are divinely supported. And that is not easy. With this new moon square to Saturn, you might need to fundamentally shift your habits in order to get there. You might need to fundamentally rework your tendency to worry and replace it with a tendency to expect the best, right? And to know that you are worthy of the best. Because this is a Taurus new moon, it does bring in these themes of self-esteem. So a lot of you are widening your perspective on what is possible, right? Because before you had a mindset to hyper-focus on what would go wrong, and right now you're like, what could go right? How big could this thing get? Why would I settle for these dreams when I know I could be possible for anything more? You are learning to essentially reprogram yourself to see the world not through your own limitations, but through the possibilities, through the potential. And I'm so here for it. And some of you, to a practical level, you're planting the seeds around a trip, perhaps a trip to a Taurian place, somewhere beautiful that soothes the senses, where you can wear beautiful clothes and drink delicious wine and eat delicious food. Okay, if some of you are calling in that, I am telling you, make the cuisine of the place that you want to travel to, wear the clothes that you would wear. I'm telling you, you are manifesting that dream trip into your life. Some of you are planting the seeds around higher education. There really is this desire for wisdom. This is the house of the acquiring of wisdom. And to be able to search for wisdom, you have to take a break from the mundane, which is what a lot of you are planting the seeds. A lot of you have been so bogged down within the mundane that during this new moon, you're planting the seeds around, okay, how can I get back to the big picture stuff of my life, the memories that I will tell my grandchildren about, right? Like, how can I get into discovering doing what's true and right for my soul outside of just the tasks and responsibilities that I do for everyone else, right? You really are stepping into being the main character of your life. And some of you are looking for the search of wisdom. Some of you are going to higher education. Some of you are stepping up as a spiritual leader. You're starting to teach more. You are starting to study more. Some of you are planting the seeds around writing a book. Okay, this is House of Publishing, getting published, showing up day in and day out to write, to share your wisdom, to get your words out there. Some of you are trusting your intuition. Maybe that's how you're recoding. You're typically used to viewing things through the realistic lens around what could go wrong, and you're recoding it around what could go right. Where is the universe guiding me? And that's not easy. You're getting out of your comfort zone by reprogramming yourself to trust your intuition, to trust your personal sense of meaning. And this won't be a message for all of you, but for some of you, with Saturn most likely transiting the 7th, a lot of you have had people who are sort of injecting you through this lens of self-doubt and scarcity. And there is this freedom that you are seeking to be able to be like, you don't define me, right? I define me. I need to live a life that feels good to me. Because when it's time for me to go, I'm going to be the one on that final bed. Okay, so I need to find my personal truth. I need to have faith in my journey and where it is that it can take me, and listen to the essentially dialogue of my higher self rather than the dialogue of doubt from those around me. And that's uncomfortable. It's a leap of faith, my love, but I'm telling you, this is a new moon around a leap of faith that works out. Just continue to show up for yourself, show up for your spirituality, show up for your big picture, and the results will be absolutely abundant and beautiful. If you are a Leo rising or this Taurus New Moon 2023, so 28 degrees Taurus lands within the 10th house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you. And the manifestations that are the most magnetic for you particularly have to do with career, public persona, and being in the spotlight, which a lot of you guys are Leo risings. I know not all, and I will say that is a territory that you particularly shine within. And this is the time to get comfortable around being seen. A lot of you are manifesting career success, and beyond just career success, you are manifesting the version of yourself that you have to be in order to get there. That's what's truly rewarding about hitting any milestone in business, and it's understanding the sacrifice that went into it, right? The sleepless nights that you needed to work on your business, or the amount of work that it took for you to really be the leader that you could be proud of, to really build a team that you could be proud of, the work that goes day in and day out to meeting your goals and the version of yourself that you have to be in order to get there. This new moon is about having tenacity and being able to really bake in, I want this business, I know it's going to be hard, but I'm planting the seeds around having the strength to be able to show up for the vision. There will be days, even if it's your passion, that you don't feel like going into the office. There will be times that you don't feel like going into the storefront. There will be times that you'd rather sleep in rather than go, meet with your herbalism clients. Like, there will be days that you do not feel like it, but motivation fades, discipline stays, and this is the time to plant the seeds around the discipline it will take to arise to your potential within the public eye, to get comfortable being visible, right? To show up day in and day out, regardless of what people say, right? Regardless of how it is that you feel, to be able to build that inertia because you know you are worthy of those dreams and desires that come up. Some of you are planting the seeds around a higher leadership position, okay? And it's going to be uncomfortable. Like, with the Saturn energy in this new moon, it's going to take hard conversations. It's going to be having to have boundaries, right? It's not always easy to be people's boss or to lead a team or what have you. Again, with this new moon sextiling Neptune, Neptune is the smoke screen, it's the vision. Things look so glamorous, right? But when you're in it, it's hard work, it's tough conversations, it's awkwardness when you have to enforce rules. Like, again, it takes a lot to arise to that space. And this is a new moon to understand I am worthy of reaching this mission, and I am open to do the work day in and day out in order to get there. For some of you, you are manifesting fame with this. So whether it is success online, whether it is success in the public eye, you are particularly magnetic as it relates to opportunities to allow your work to be seen, right? And to really allow the fruits of your labors to be shown. Because I do feel for some of you, you've been working very hard and you are entering a period of your life, with Jupiter about to enter the sector as well. You are entering a period of your life where you will reap the fruits of your labor that you so deserve. And I am so excited for you. You deserve this. And part of this is around understanding you are worthy of this, right? And again, you did the work. It all happened beneath the surface. When there's applause and validation via the checks and being on the cover of the magazine and hearing your song on the radio and all of the external circumstances, those are all just sprinkles on the sundae. The real treat was the work that went within, right? The lessons that you had to learn, the strength that you had to chisel, the power you had to tap into. So a lot of it's happening beneath the surface, okay? So for some of you, you might not reap these rewards right away, right? But you are planting the seeds around really committing to the vision, committing to the work that it'll take in order to get there. If you are a Cancer rising or the Taurus New Moon, so 28 degrees Taurus, lands within the 11th house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you, and you really get this opportunity to plant the seeds of just about anything that you want. This is the house of fortune, so truly it's a house of hopes and dreams. So anything that you want for your future, so long as you're willing to work for it, so long as it's somewhat anchored into reality and pragmatic, my love, you are magnetic to your manifestations at this time. Think big, dream big, especially with Venus and Mars in the first house. You're feeling extra passionate, and your passions are clues around which dreams are yours. Pay attention to when you visualize it, the excitement that it generates within your physical body. That is a sign, that is a clue. It is getting closer. Outside of just everything, because truly that's what's super aligned at this time, I want you to know that you are very magnetic as it relates to calling in new friendships and really calling in the discipline that it takes in order to show up for those friendships. Right? It's not always easy to consistently reach out and be like, hey, do you want to spend time? Or consistently work through any problems that emerge. It's not always easy, right? But that's what makes these relationships so fulfilling, right? Is that it's people who have been with us when times were great, when times were challenging, right? It's that steady consistency. And sometimes you get annoyed with each other. Sometimes you don't see eye to eye. But again, you continually show up. You continually work on it, right? And so some of you are really calling in the discipline in order to maintain current friendships. Some of you are calling in new friendships of people that you truly feel aligned with. Dream big, be open to get into groups and environments of people who you do feel like-minded around. Seriously, your passions, your hobbies, let that guide you to people who are also passionate about that. I was listening to a podcast recently, and one of the topics that they were talking about is how to make new friends, and they were saying that both of the hosts had moved to New York, and they were saying that a lot of their friends they had met through hobbies, right? And absolutely, I've met so many friends through Astrology Club here in San Diego, because it was like people to nerd out about astrology with. Like, it's such a wholesome way to connect with people on shared interests. So some of you are really planting the seeds around finding your people, or maybe even being a leader in order to call in. Maybe you don't have an astrology club within your city. Maybe you're making one, right? That would be really aligned to call in as it relates to this new moon, as well as, you are planting the seeds not only for your personal future, but also for humanity's, right? So some of you might be planting the seeds around wanting to volunteer more, really wanting to do the work in order to get us to where it is that you want humanity to go. Maybe you're volunteering, maybe you're donating time. With the square to Saturn, it is a sacrifice. Sometimes you have to give up time after work in order to go protest or what have you. Keeping your eye on the vision around the world that you want to cultivate for yourself and the world that you want to cultivate within all of us on this planet, and understanding in a very Taurus way, it'll take hard work, it'll take patience, but if we keep doing what we've been doing, we keep getting what we've been getting. So this is a new moon around really planting the seeds to see the vision of what you want the future to look like and be willing to do the work in order to get there around the people that you feel aligned with. And some of you are calling in just a bigger audience, honestly, whether it's followers, subscribers. You're very magnetic as it relates to calling in audiences of people who are like-minded, whether it's, in a club or on your social media feed. You are really calling in community at this time, wanting to feel connected to other souls who feel similarly as you. If you are a Gemini rising, or you have the Taurus New Moon, so 28 degrees Taurus, landing in the 12th house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you. And this is a very hidden private sector of the chart. And the work that you are committing to at this moment may not be visible for others, and they don't have to see it, and they don't have to understand. A lot is transpiring for you, and most of it is not visible to the naked eye. They might not understand all that is happening beneath the surface, all that is transpiring, all that is transforming beneath you. Some of you are really committing to really doing the work whether it's really processing memories that you have repressed, scripts within you of what it is that you deserve. Some of you are fundamentally recoding around, I am worthy of what it is that I desire. Like some of you have a secret hater in your head who's constantly criticizing you, and some of you are like reprogramming around, no, I'm not going to self-sabotage. No, I am worthy of this. I'm going to do the work in order to nurture that day in and day out. I'm going to nurture the hobbies that allow me to see my worth, right? And it's not easy with the square to Saturn. It might take the releasing of bad habits. It is in the 12th house. So some of you are planting the seeds around letting go of escapist tendencies, procrastination tendencies. These are all self-sabotaging tendencies, right? And you're really planting the seeds around, I am no longer going to destroy myself. I'm going to build myself from the ground up. I'm going to see my worth. I'm going to take these hidden sectors of my life that have been running my life, right? My trauma, my underlying sort of script within me. I'm going to reprogram that. And when people see the results of the hard work that I've done, when they see, you know, the blossoms on my vine, that really just speaks to the amount of work that I've done to my roots, how deep my roots have had to sink, how much I've had to nurture my internal landscape. Some of you are committing to being more disciplined when it comes to your spirituality. You're committing to really doing the work in meditation, really doing the work with yoga, doing these disciplines that allow you to attune to your spirit guides. Some of you are chiseling and channeling your mediumship abilities, your dream interpretation. You're really committing to do the work to really flesh out your ability as a mystic. Because I'm telling you, everybody is intuitive, but you have this opportunity now to really craft and hone the abilities that are coming through, because it does take discipline, right? Some people are naturally more open than others, but it is something that you can chisel and channel and work on, and that's really the new start that you are moving into. So my loves, I would love to hear, what are you calling in with this Taurus new moon? Write it down in the comments. What you write, you invite, and I'm wishing you all such a beautiful, sensual, pragmatic, abundant Taurus new moon. Let me know how you celebrate. My Instagram handle is @Astrology. My TikTok is the same. I would love to connect with you over there. And until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.